fellow Toastmasters and very welcome guests. A broken tennis racket. Was it murder? Suicide, perhaps? Or perhaps designed that way for interesting corner shots? Well, it was actually murder, and I did it. Now, this might be a man thing. It might be particular to men called David. This one, in fact. But in my adult years, I have associated myself and looked up to sporting heroes of a similar age. Now, the reason why I've done that is because I look at them and think, I could have been you. Okay, I admit to think about the years and years of training that they actually did to get to that level, but I could have been there if I'd chosen to, but I didn't, but I might have done, but I didn't, because I was busy that decade washing my hair or something. But in my childhood, I looked up to adult sports people, so they were older than me, and I thought, well, that's where I could be one day. But at the age of 15, in 1985, I saw Boris Becker at the age of 17 winning his first Wimbledon title. And I thought, I'm not that far off in age. I could get to sporting greatness quite soon. But unfortunately, my racket sport career hadn't exactly started off terribly well. At the age of 10, I got into the badminton club at school, which is great. And I turned up to the first session for training, and there it was, my new racket my parents had bought me. A big lump of wood. And all the others had these lovely light metal rackets, and I thought, this is interesting. So after a bit of conversation, and no, it's not, is it? I realised they'd bought me a squash racket. Now, it wasn't that they were wanting me to fail and take up chess or something like that. It was because they hadn't a clue what racket was appropriate, and neither did I. But moving swiftly on to 2006, at the age of 36, I wasn't really any better. But at that year, Andre Agassi, who was the same age as me and I'd always looked up to him, he decided he was going to retire from tennis. That was disastrous, because I looked at him and he was my example that I could be him, and he was going to retire. Oh my goodness, I'm getting old. And so I'm never going to win Wimbledon. I'm never going to be able to say, you cannot be serious, to an umpire. And I'd never be able to throw my sweaty clothes at the crowd at the end of a match, and, well, apart from throwing it back and saying, wash them yourself, you sweaty sod. And I'd never be able to go into a post-match press conference and say, well, I lost the match against Roger Federer because of fluffy balls. But, so I would never experience that. But I admit to mention, well, I have mentioned that I was just rubbish at tennis. But when has I ever stopped a British tennis player? I was just playing in the park for a few matches, going off to South America for a few tournaments where nobody good was there. I'd eventually have enough ATP points to get inside the British top 5. John Lloyd's been there for years and he's 63. Cliff Richard's number 9. But realistically, I don't have much chance. So what other sport is there for me to go for? Well, golf. As I think about golf, that's for the more, can be for the more mature, and Jack Nicklaus was quite getting on a bit when he won his 5th Masters in 1986, and Gary Player was at 74 last week at the Masters, was going out. He didn't make the cut, but he's still doing very well. Only one problem. I'm rubbish at golf as well. Even though I come from Scotland, everybody thinks, well, you're going to be good at golf. No. And in my teens, I went to play golf one time, and I was in the first hole, and I was doing the shimmy. I was teeing up, hit the ball, and it went straight up in the air. I got right underneath it, so far underneath it, it just went vertical. And it had lots of backspin on it. And all these people, of course, were waiting to play. I had to shout for people behind me. And needless to say, I didn't play my next shot in amongst all of them. I decided probably best to go to hole number 2 and carry on. So golf is out. So I think probably the best thing for me is darts. Now, the good thing about darts is I never really need to leave the pub, so I don't have to worry about getting hot and bothered. And the 13 times world champion is 47. I'm 37, so I've got 10 more years. I can go to the pub and practice maybe occasionally, and eventually I might actually get to where he is, or at least somewhere close. But in conclusion, if you ever break a tennis racket, make sure you've kept a hold of the Argus receipt, because you can always get your money back.